Hello everybody and welcome to the very first episode of Crochet Chat, which is going to be a series which I plan on doing a couple of times a month, where I basically just talk about everything crochet related I've been up to, so finished objects, yarn reviews, stitches I like, that kind of thing. But yeah, let's just get into the yarny goodness. So the first thing I want to show you guys is some coasters that I've been working on. So I've got a craft fair coming up on March 14th, and I'm mainly going to be selling things like hats and scarves, but I also wanted to have some smaller items, so I made some coasters. So also with Valentine's Day coming up, I've got these listed on my website as they're sort of red and pink colours. So I've got a pink one, red one, and then I thought it'd be a really nice idea to put the colours together. So I've got one that's pink with red on the outside, and one that's red inside and pink outside, and I just think they look really nice together as a set. So there we go. The colours aren't showing up brilliantly on the camera, they're a bit more vibrant in real life, but you get the idea. And I can't remember exactly, somewhere between 16 and 20 of these ones. And these are made with the Rico Cotton Essentials DK. So this was the label for these, and I can't remember which colour's which because it doesn't have colour names, it just has colour numbers. But I believe one is called Berry and I think the other one's just called Red, but I could be wrong on that. But the numbers are, one is colour 02 and the other one is 15, and it says 100% cotton, which is mercerized, and it's 50-gram ball that it comes in, and for that you get somewhere between 8 and 10 coasters. The pattern that I used for these is by Sarafir. I'll leave a link in the description for these ones, and basically it's called the Flower Wheel Coaster. The full pattern is a bit larger than this, but I think this is a really good size for a coaster because it's pretty much exactly the size of a bottom of a drink, and I didn't want them to be too big, that they'd essentially just be cumbersome and unwieldy as a coaster made of cotton can be. But you get the idea, and I used a 4mm hook for those. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is probably one of my favourite things I'll be showing you today, and that is this gorgeous decorative mandala. So I made this for a customer to give as a gift, and yeah, just look at the detailing on that. It is stunning. I absolutely love this. I can't remember off the top of my head which pattern I used for this, but I'll try and find it a proper link in the description if I can. But yeah, I'll put it a bit closer so you can sort of really see the detail all the way around. It's got this gorgeous pattern that really works together, and it sits flat as well, which I'm very happy about. And this was made using Vicky Brown Designs. So I believe she has a monthly subscription thing where you can get 5 skeins of 20-gram yarn. So basically I actually found this at an event called the D-Stash, which is a local event where people, crafters, bring their items they no longer need, and then you can buy it at a discount price. So that's where I found this one, and I was just in love with the blue colour, plus the customer had specified that he wanted blue for the item. And this is made, it's 4-ply sock yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it says BLAR, I'm not really sure what that sort of stands for. And then it's a 20-gram skein that comes 85 meters. So this used basically the whole skein. There was a tiny bit left, but not enough for another round. But I'm really happy with the size. It works for a really good decoration. You can just put like a vase on it or something else, put it in the center of the table. And it's just a really nice piece that's, you know, it's so soft and like cozy as well. Like, it's so nice to feel, so beautiful. So I'm really happy with this one. I can't wait to give it to the customer. The next thing I have made is this Divine hat. So this is a pattern that's been quite popular lately. I've noticed a couple of other crochet YouTubers talking about it, most notably Rose Likes Crochet, which is where I saw it. And I just really love the pattern on this. It's got this gorgeous sort of spiral effect with the ribs all the way down the hat. If you look a bit closer, you can sort of see there's almost sort of shell-like patterns. And then it's got this gorgeous ribbing at the bottom of the hat. I'll pop it on, but hats always look really bad with a headscarf, so this isn't a good example of how it would look on a normal person, but you get the rough idea of how it sort of shapes to the head. It's so pretty. Like, I'm so happy with how this turned out. And plus, because you work in a circle, it means there's no obvious join anywhere along, because you're working from the top in a circle. And it's also really interesting on the other side. So this is sort of what it looks like. So it's got this kind of like ridged pattern that sort of spirals out as you go down on the inside, which I always like looking at hats on the inside out of curiosity. But yeah, that is this one. And this one is made with Wendy Aurora DK in the colour 03. It doesn't have colour names on this one again. And this came in a 100-gram ball. It recommends a needle size of 4mm, which is US 6. I used a 5.5mm hook for the hat, just because the Divine hat does recommend using a larger hook for the main body and then a smaller hook for the ribbing effect. And this is 100% acrylic, which is approximately 290 meters, which equates to 317 yards. And there was enough left over, so I'm working on another Divine hat now, because I'm really enjoying the pattern. So I've just started this morning, and yeah, I've got a decent amount of the ball left, so I'm pretty confident I'll be able to get the full hat. I'm quickly gonna show off my yarn bowl that I made. It's just really convenient for working the yarn so it doesn't roll all over the place. But that is the one that I am currently working on. The next hat I'm going to show you is this one, which I really like. I see this as sort of being a more masculine hat, so I'm hoping that maybe a guy will buy it at my craft fairs, because it's quite hard. I've only been to one craft fair, but a lot of guys don't really pay too much attention to it, so I suppose a lot of my colours are perhaps more feminine. So I wanted to do this one so they would have more options. Again, I'll put it on, but it won't look too good. There we go. But yeah, this one I made using alternate rows of double crochet and back loop only double crochet, because it creates that really cool sort of leveling effect upwards on the hat. And this one was made using the Karen X Pantone yarn in the colour Elephant Grey. So it sort of gives an example of hats on there, but those are knitting hats. But yeah, I just wanted to, I decided it looked better with the darker colours at the bottom working its way up. And these are normally $8.95 per, I say skein, they come in a really weird way, I'll show you actually. So they sort of come in these tiny loops of 20 grams each when they do it, so you've got 5 loops of 20 grams when you get them. But I managed to get these on sale in the works, so I picked up a few copies? A few, I don't know what the word would be. I picked up a few of them. So this one is, it's not showing up perfectly in the camera, but it's like a navy blue. So I'm planning to make another hat with this one, but I'm thinking maybe a different colour for the brim. So I'm going to sort of see what other colours I've got. And this yarn is, let's get the details. So this comes in 100 grams, which equates to 127 yards or 116 meters. It's made using 60% acrylic, 20% nylon and 20% merino wool. And it recommends a 6mm hook, and it is a size 5 bulky yarn. This yarn as well, because it comes in those loops, it is a bit hard to work with. So what I found I've done is I've taken off each loop as it comes, and then I just sort of drape it over my knee and unravel as it goes, because I just find that a lot easier than balling into it. I've actually got a video on how I work with hanks, which is what I've done with this one, but on a smaller scale because it is smaller. But this yarn is a really soft, nice yarn. Like, it feels to me softer than most genuine wool yarns, so I really like working with this one. I will admit the yarn doesn't go particularly far, because you only get one hat out of a full skein of it, so it could be expensive if you were buying it full price and wanting to make a larger item, but as I managed to get it on sale, I'm really happy with being able to get one hat per skein. So the next hat I'm going to show you is this one. So, again, the colours aren't showing up perfectly, but it's basically a pink and purple one, and I've used two strands together at the same time, and I've got the herringbone stitch, then I've got a bit of sort of differentiation in the middle, so I switched to the half herringbone and a back loop only half herringbone for one of the lines, and then I did herringbone the way up again. So I'll pop that on for you. There we go. So the way I worked the last hat and this hat and most of my hats really, I work it in a rectangle, so just one row at a time. Then I sew the ends of the rectangle together and cinch it at the top, which sort of creates this effect at the top, which I like. I think it looks really nice on the hat, but I do hate sewing, so the reason I usually don't work in a circle is I always sort of get like a line where it sort of bends in, which makes it quite obvious, so that's why I usually don't do it. However, with Divine Hat, I haven't had that problem, so I might start working more in a circle because I do hate the sewing up, but I do really like the effect that it turns out. And this one was made, the 2 yarns I were using were given to me for my birthday by a friend of mine. So this is John Lewis, and it says knit. So it says yarn knit, double knit, machine washable by John Lewis, 100 grams, which is 300 meters. And it's 100% acrylic, 40 degree machine washable, slow spin, cool double dry, do not iron. So that's this one. It's a really pretty magenta pink colour, which I love. And then the other yarn I worked it with was Serdar Snuggly Double Knitting, a nice purple colour there. And this one came in a 50-gram ball, hence why there's a lot less left of this one than there is of the other ones. And the 50-gram ball has 179 yards or 165 metres, and it's made with 55% nylon, 45% acrylic. And it recommends a USA size 4mm needles and hooks, which is a USA size 6 for the knitting needles, or a USA F5 for the crochet hooks. So that was these ones to make that hat. Now the next hat I made is using my personal favourite stitch, which is the Elizabeth stitch. I just love the Elizabeth stitch. It's kind of like, it's also known as the mini bean stitch. So there we go, it's focusing now. So you can sort of see the definition of each row as it goes on, and I'll pop this on my head. Again, like I said, I'm sorry that it looks so bad on my head. It's because this headscarf is one I crocheted, so it's a lot thicker than most of my headscarves as well, which doesn't help. But yeah, I think this is a sort of really fun colour. I think it's a very unique colourway as well, because you've got the oranges, you've got the browns, you've got the pinks, you've got the purples, and it just looks really nice, and I think it shows off a personality. So I'm looking forward to seeing who buys this, because I think it would look really nice. And this one is also made with the Wendy Aurora DK, and this one is in the colour 02, so I think the other one was 03, I believe? Yeah, so the other one, the other hat I made with the Wendy Aurora DK was 03, this one's 02, and yeah, it's really pretty. And with the yarn I had left over from making this hat, I decided to do something different, and I made this infinity scarf. Look, it just goes on forever. What's with that? And basically, with an infinity scarf, you can just drape it over, twist, and this one's got 2 twists to make it, but yeah, you can just like arrange it as you do. But yeah, I think it looks really nice and cool. It's very warm as well, because it's got so many layers, even though it is a bit of a lacy pattern. And the pattern I used for this, I can't remember how many I chained at the start, but I basically just chained and then did triple crochet, chain 2 all the way along, and with a turning chain of 5 which is the equivalent of 1 triple crochet and 1 chain 2. So yeah, I really like this one. It's got a really nice feel to it. It's cozy, and it matches the hat as well, which is nice. But yeah, this is an infinity scarf that I made with it. And then the last thing that I made that I'll be showing you today, but not the last thing I'll be talking about, is this infinity scarf. So again, I used the same stitch, but this one was in a chunky yarn rather than a DK yarn. So this one's a bit longer, and this one was most of the skein. There was a little bit left over, but it was a good length, so I decided to end it there. And again, just sort of twist it over your head, and yeah, you can just like arrange it. You can pull it around, have like whiter colours at the front, have darker colours at the front, because this is a gradient yarn, so it sort of melds from brown to beige to cream. Like, yeah, it's really pretty. And this is the Wendy Stella yarn, so I'll just read you about that. So this is Wendy Stella Chunky. It is 100% acrylic, and it has 180 metres, which is the equivalent of 197 yards. It recommends a 6.5mm needle. Doesn't say about hook size, but I've got a 6.5mm hook, but it's not a particularly good quality one. So I used a 6mm hook of my Clover and Moors, which are my preferred hooks, and I think it looks really nice. It has a really nice chunky feel to it. So yeah, this is a really nice addition for my craft fair as well. And having talked about my hooks, I'm just going to show you guys my favourite hooks to work with. So I actually have a Harry Potter hook case that I made myself. So this is what it looks on the outside. It's just got the Hogwarts crest. It's got a few different things. So it's got scissors, stars, the flying keys, the Hogwarts crest, and Harry Potter. And yeah, it's just, I really like it. I think it's really cool. And then on the inside, there's padding. I've got like an old quilt or something. It's like pink on the back and just plain white on the inside with that sort of fun pattern. And then I sewed it together. I haven't actually cut the ends off because I don't want to sew them in and I don't want it to like fray. So the ends are just sort of dangling off, which I'm okay with. And then I've got, this is my needle case, and this is one that, hang on, open my needles. So these are my needles and a few pins, which I use for like sewing in ends, not the pins, the needles obviously. And yeah, this is a little needle case that my nan actually made for me when I was a very little girl, and I've kept all these years. So yeah, my nan's amazing, so I like to sort of keep this as a reminder. She's still alive, by the way, but I like to keep it as a reminder of her when I'm crocheting. And then my crochet hooks, I've got the Clever and More ones. So this is the 6mm, the 5mm, the 5.5 is the one I'm working with in the Divine Hat at the moment. Then I've got the 4.5 here and 4. I really like how they're colour coded as well. It makes it a lot easier to tell the difference when you're just picking them up without having to look at the numbers. Then I've got the 3mm because the 3.5 is in another project that I'm working on. I've got the 2.5mm in yellow and the 2mm in a light green. And these were a birthday present from my mother-in-law. I really love these ones. I think they work so nicely. They go through the yarn so smoothly. They sit really nicely in your hands because they've got the ergonomic handles. They're a perfect length. The finish on the hooks is really smooth, so it doesn't catch with the yarn like I've had with some other hooks. And ultimately, I would definitely recommend them. They're a bit more expensive than regular hooks, but for me, they're very much worth the expense because they're that much higher quality in my opinion. Where did I put there? I couldn't find my needle case to put it back. But yeah, I'm really happy with my Clever and More hooks. Would definitely recommend them. The other ones I used were the ones I started off with. I got for like £5 on eBay for a set of them. And then I got some ones from my mum, which from Amazon, which I think were £10. And these have a nice little flower pattern, a nice curve. So these are my travel hooks because they're really useful to work with and I do like them. But if I lose them, it's not the end of the world because I've got my Clover and Moores, which are my main ones. And then I just wanted to talk about some of the stitches that I've learnt in the past couple of weeks making these things. So the first one I learnt was making the coasters, and it's not so much a new stitch as a new way of doing a stitch, and it's called the standing double crochet. So basically what you do, instead of what I normally used to do, which was tying on the yarn into the project and then chaining 2 for my first double crochet, what I do now, I make a slip knot on my hook and yarn over as if I was about to do a double crochet, and then I just finish the stitch by going into the project. So what I would do, I'd have my, imagine there's a hook with a slip knot of yarn. I would put it in, yarn over, pull it out, and just pull through 2 as I would normally. It's important to hold your finger on the yarn over, otherwise it will slip off when you're doing a stitch. So it took me a few tries to master it, but now I've got it. It's just a really nice way of transitioning between different coloured yarns on a project. And then the other 2 stitches I learned when we're making the Divine Hat. So it was actually a stitch that I've heard of before but been intimidated by, so I hadn't attempted before, and it's called front post double crochet. And I've always been really scared because I wasn't sure how to do it, but I watched a video tutorial and it was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. And basically it just involves, instead of normally you'd go into the top of the double crochet from the row before, instead of doing that you just go in behind the actual double crochet itself. And it creates this like pulled forward effect that creates the ribbing on the hat. And then in the base, or the base ribbing, it's alternate rows of front post double crochet and then back post double crochet. And back post is a bit harder, but again, not as intimidating as I thought it would be. And they're 2 really useful stitches to have added to my arsenal. Okay, well, I really hope you've enjoyed talking about yarn and crochet with me. I've certainly enjoyed being able to share it with you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts on some of my projects, perhaps some project suggestions for me. And yeah, just talk about crochet with me. I'm always happy to talk about crochet with people. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please do pop a like on the video. It really helps my videos to get seen by more people. And if you'd like to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I try to post yarny, I'm gonna try and post videos a lot more frequently. Yarny related ones, unboxings, pretty much anything to do with crochet. I'll make a video for it. But yeah, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.